What's up, yo? It's me, the old slash reactor. I'm over here and decided to get into this one. Finally, I'm making my video on discussing uh, Captain America Brave New World, which is originally titled New World Order, but no, it's Brave New World now. That is the movie we're going to be discussing. The one that I've watched, and it's been a good bit since I've seen it. Um, but now we can discuss it. So let's get to it. All right, so. Other people have been saying stuff about the video like it's myth, stuff like that, or they're downright hating it, and people have came out, a lot of reviews and reactions are already about the film. You can go check them out online as well and compare your thoughts with their thoughts and my thoughts. We're just here to have one big discussion for the film. But I think before I discuss my rating side, let's just discuss the film side. All right. So Captain America Brave New World has a strong start. I'd say actually got me really hooked in the film in the beginning. Like, oh, okay, there's Captain America, you know, Sam Wilson, he's out there, and he's already just going on his, mission, um, of finding out, what's it? He's trying to track down people from the Serpent Society, right, who are at large, especially the leader, Sidewinder, played by Giancarlo Esposito. So there's that element to it. That's sort of what happens at the beginning. He captures him, and then the other part, of course, is Ross becoming president of the United States. So we have these huge changes, huge things already happening from the get-go, to fill us in. And we have Walking Towards, who is the new Falcon, as sort of the sidekick to Sam Wilson's Captain America. And in my opinion, that was a pretty good way to start the film. Now, of course, from here it sort of goes downhill. But we'll get to that in a second. And if you want me to just continue, more videos like this, more reactions, consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, because I have more videos like this planned out, and you'll just be ready for those to come. All right, now I'm going to discuss the main chunks of the film. All right, so once Ross becomes president, he and Sam have a little discussion. Now, Sam also brings his friend. I do not exactly remember his name. Oh, I do. Just kidding, I do. He brings not necessarily his friend, but one of the OG super soldiers, Isaiah Bradley, right? So he's there as well when Ross is giving his speech. He and Sam have a little one-to-one private discussion chat, of course, about Ross being like, "Yo, Sam, I need you to sort of restart the Avengers." And of course, Sam goes into Ross like, why are you in favor of this? Don't you like hate the Avengers, especially what you wanted to do with the Accords, basically broke us up, why we lost in Infinity War, and even in Infinity War, you were directly talking to Chris Evans' Captain America, being like, "Yo, just because the world is in danger, you think all is forgiven." Line still hits hard to date, when Captain America goes, you know, "I'm not here for permission or here to ask for forgiveness." But anyways, getting back to this film. So Ross explains like, after what happened at the end of Infinity War, half of all life was basically gone, dusted. So he was like, without the Avengers, and their help, the other half wouldn't even be here. So that's why he sort of had this new look, new change, new emphasis that, the Avengers are actually important, they're needed, and they're very helpful. So this movie is also trying to present a character arc for Ross as well. He has one in this film, and sort of was surprising to me that we would get one for him, but I feel like the writers thinking, let's give Ross sort of an arc, and then let's tie this into his daughter, Betty Ross, and all these other people, trying to tease for sort of this Incredible Hulk sequel. And that's sort of what Brave New World is. It's sort of like the sequel film to The Incredible Hulk, more than a decade after the film has came out. And so it's kind of like, okay, why are we doing this now? And it kind of also felt unexpected. And then people wondering who the villain of this is. And at the beginning of the film, it said that Ross had taken in one prisoner who ended up being Samuel Stearns, who ends up being the main villain of this film. And Ross is basically kept in prisoner after what happened in the Incredible Hulk film and with Abomination, all that stuff. Although Abomination now is sort of a good guy, I guess, after what happened in She-Hulk. You know, I don't know. He said he's changed, but who cares what happened in Shield? You know, we've moved on since then. But in this one, you know, we don't even have Hulk. Bruce Banner is not in this film at all. I can kind of see why. Maybe it was Universal and their stance on it, but who's to say? Anyway, so Samuel Stearns has been giving Ross sort of these pills, you know, because Ross is basically having, I think, sort of an illness, I believe, and the pills are sort of what's keeping him alive. However, we later find out that they have, I think, some sort of gamma radiation thing, right, in them, right? So there's a whole separate thing about that, you know. The other thing this film discusses, of course, is adamantium, you know, and we're sort of wondering when we're going to get it. Adamantium is important; it's an important element. The reason why it's important is because of X-Men, especially Wolverine, you know he has an adamantium skeleton, right? And this is the first time adamantium's really been addressed in the MCU. And also, we're discussing, I think, what happened with Tiamat from the Eternals and how we did get adamantium and how it was in the ocean, you know. And there's this huge, like, whole political sort of, you know, war happening. Basically, everyone wants to obtain it. But in the end, it's only four countries. I think US, Japan, India, and France, right? These four. So okay, I don't know why it's only four like these four, but you know, writers got to do what writers got to do, I guess. You know, to make it easier for themselves. So you know, Ross is also having sort of another treaty agreement, you know, saying that let's all equally share and divide this adamantium, you know, instead of going to war against it, you know. That was his original sort of peace plan, right? You know. But I think at first Japan was sort of against the idea, so he has to try and go and convince them. So there's that going on as well. We do get a bit of characterization, or you know, more seeing more the dynamic of just Sam Wilson becoming the new Captain America, him sort of solidifying the role after all the training that he's been doing with Isaiah Bradley and all the others. And when Isaiah Bradley was at the press conference with Ross, you know, we saw a scene from the trailer, you know, how, about this whole shootout that was happening. They were trying to take down the new president of America, with that being Ross, and Isaiah was one of them, and he gets locked up, you know. But Sam's like, no, it can't be him. Something's wrong here. He must have been brainwashed some way, somehow. And of course, we've seen brainwashing happening a lot, right, within the MCU. For example, you know, of course, with Bucky Barnes and him being brainwashed to work for Hydra. So we've seen it occur. So Sam, you know, especially that's also what happened, you know. Um, what happened with Captain America, the Winter Soldier, right? Which is sort of another film I felt like this movie was trying to copy, you know, because they know that that's pretty much one of the fan favorites of the Captain America trilogy, you know, having those political themes in it and also just amazing action and intense scenes and stuff like that and brainwashing. So they're trying to copy and paste some of those elements into this film as well. But does it work out? It's for you guys to decide. I say no, not really. This film is less good than that one, you know. Even I, for one, am not praising Winter Soldier. I know some people out there praise it. I'll say it's good for what it is, but you know, in terms of like just solid storyline and all that, it has it and just epic lines. This one kind of falls flat, you know, and we'll get to that in a bit as to why that's the case. As the film goes on, you know, Sam's trying to prove how Isaiah Bradley's innocent, but of course, you know with him taking his stance, you know, Ross just goes against him. He breaks down on his deal with Sam, you know, and he just becomes angrier, I guess, you know, with the world and everyone, and especially the condition that he's in, you know. So that's happening. And then this film, you know, tries to give some of the runtime to Ross as a character arc as well. And of course, Ross also has like this agent. Girl who sort of looks after her as well. I forgot exactly what her name was. You know, she had somewhat of a presence, but I don't remember her too well. She does sort of try to help out Sam and Joaquin Torres when she finds out that Isaiah Bradley may have been innocent, you know, after sort of like reviewing the footage and all that went down, you know. Um, so, you know, Sam, I remember told Ross that his security clearance had been compromised, you know either you can't see it or you're blind, you know. And it was mainly just Samuel Stearns, you know, pulling all the strings, you know, um, sort of from underneath, you know, having his own way of brainwashing the people by playing. I forgot, but it was some sort of song, right, which would play. I don't exactly remember its name, but that would sort of brainwash, you know, whoever is listening to it and sort of follow his instructions, you know, whatever they are. Again, I don't know the science behind how it works, the sort of psychology to it, but somehow that's what's happening. So, Joaquin Torres and Sam Wilson sort of have to go and escape, and try to put all the puzzle pieces together and see what's going on. They send Ross's pills to sort of this these people who sort of test on it. And like I said earlier, they found that it does have gamma radiation. And in the meantime, while all this is happening, there's sort of this war breaking out, because after the shootout happened, the deal sort of for adamantium sort of gone. So Japan, has decided to attack and, try to take whatever they can for themselves. And, Ross sees this as a declaration of war, so he goes out there, which is exactly what Samuel Stearns wanted, but what Sam Wilson and Rocky Tours and all those other people are trying to avoid from happening. So they eventually try to arrive there as well and try to talk to him down, and eventually it works out. And Ross is eventually starting to cool down again. Yet he gets a phone call from Samuel Stearns, who basically has this, super evil plan, I guess, and Ross is starting to get aware of it. He's trying to make him angry and angrier again, by basically trying to just tell him about how things are going on, how his daughter's not talking to him anymore, and why he should be super angry. And it sort of works. He almost turns red, but he sort of stops, transforming like 90% angry, I guess. But after that happens, the new peace deal between all the countries is sort of happening again for adamantium, and while it seems like all is good, of course, we still need that fight scene as shown in the trailer between Red Hulk and Captain America. So, in order for that to occur, he has to become angry again, which Stearns is able to do by basically showing the whole world the pills that he's been taking and the secrets that he had and all the testing and stuff that he did on him and why he's just a bad guy. Because in his mind, Stearns' mind, he feels like people like Ross can never truly change. How much pain and suffering and all the evil things that he's done and how it's impacted everyone, and for Sam, he believes that people can change if they want to, and he sort of sees the good that Ross is trying to do. Um, but eventually, Ross turns into the Red Hulk, and the transformation on it. People have commented on it a lot, behind the whole specifics of it, whether they felt like it could have been improved upon, but I'll leave that for you guys to discuss. Um, but beyond that, what else happens? Yada yada. He's getting transformed, and then of course the fight scene happens, and the fight scene ends in a very stupid way with Sam sort of talking him down, using words of kindness and stuff to win the fight essentially, and he becomes normal again. And after that, of course, he can't be president, so he becomes a prisoner on the raft. I wonder how that feels like for him, And Sam also has a little talk with Samuel Stearns at the end as the post-credit scene with Stearns being like, "What are we gonna do when you have to fight people from other worlds?" And the movie basically ends after that. And of course, there's a scene with Betty Ross talking to her father, you know, and I guess they have a nice little moment towards the end. I don't know why that happened, but it did, and we call it wraps after that. So that's the film. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments below. I didn't hit on everything, but I tried to touch on as many points as I could from the top of my head. So yeah, there's that. Um, as far as our rating goes, alright, I'm pretty sure this is one of the things you guys have been waiting for me to discuss. I personally, as someone who enjoys Marvel content, did not outright hate it. I do not think this is the worst film Marvel has ever produced. Sure, there are some really dumb moments in this one, but Marvel's made dumb movies before, and you know, we always like to complain, don't we? It's super easy to complain about something being dumb and hating on it when realizing, that with a deeper analysis and specific critiques of the film, if you think the movie's mid, tell me why you think it's mid. Like, give me specific points. And, if you're able to produce it, then we'll be like, okay, I agree. I, for one, just don't outright hate movies, Like, coming from a guy who gave Craven the Hunter 7 out of 10, which bombed in theaters, but hey, he's doing really well on Netflix, I can sort of see the hate for things, but I still try to enjoy them the best that I can. I put that effort into the film rather than, just hating on it because that's a super easy thing to do. Now, with that being said, this movie is in no means perfect, yet I did enjoy the elements that it had. I wanted Captain America to do cool stuff and cool action scenes, and I did get that, you know. Did I get a strong villain? No, the villain was one of the weaker points of the film. It also looked super weird. I get why they wanted it to look like that, but no, it just came off as weird, you know. And I am happy though that Sam did get a sort of this new like vibraniums, you know, like sort of upgrade from the people from Wakanda, so that was pretty cool. And we did get a nice little visit from Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan. So these are some things that I just enjoyed happening within the film. They tried to take out Joaquin Torres from early on with the film because it would have just been too much with the focus being on him as well. So the writers have been like, all right, we need to find a way to get rid of him, you know. I don't know, why don't we injure him, you know, and have that be one of the main points for Sam to, you know, sort of, you know, have a talk and discussion with him about, you know. And I guess that means we're going to see walking towards us the new Falcon in the next Avengers film. So things to discuss, things to look forward to. Bucky Barnes' next appearance, Thunderbolts coming up, you know, things like that. Planting the seeds, as we say, for the future. And with that super weird post credit scene, I don't know, guys. I thought it was alright. I am excited to see him again in Doomsday. But other than that, still enjoyable film. So 7.5 out of 10. You know, I'd say deservingly so is what it gets. It's just not the 8 mark. 8 mark means I need like something solid from this film. It's just a little bit undercooked, you know, but I did have a lot of enjoying moments from this, you know, especially with Sam flying on top of the grave, as stupid as it is, you know, whenever like Sam was in the air, like those scenes in my opinion looked pretty cool, you know. No, this film was not a flop. It did get mixed reviews, but it still did fairly well in the box office. By no means did it do super well in the box office, but I mean it made a profit and it did okay, so no, it wasn't a flopped film. I don't know why people are saying it flopped. It did not flop. But by no means was that a success either. So mid mixed film, as I would put it, and as what the data and stats have shown. So that being said, Captain America: Brave New World did what it needed to do, did some good things, you know, especially putting the limelight spotlight on Sam Wilson being the next Captain America. Um, and hopefully can continue to hold this position that he has. Very important, especially for the Avengers and for Marvel, to have Captain America being this strong leading character in the film with morals and values and just, you know, trying to do the best that he can, you know. Some people are going to argue whether or not he needs to take the super soldier serum, you know, because without it, how is he going to, you know, do things which matter the most? And of course, I agree, not everyone has it, but, you know, Captain America did have it, but I'd say it's a different case as to why he got the serum. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Have a nice discussion over that. Anyways, I'm going to sort of leave the film discussion right about here. I have more videos to plan out and other stuff to do, so I'm going to work on that right away. And if you guys would like me to discuss or react to any other film or just discuss anything, then I will consider it, as always. And of course, thank you guys for watching till the end of this video. Till the end of this video is what I was trying to say. I don't know what happened there. But anyways, that's about it, you guys. Eagle Bruce Reactor is out. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time. You know, more to discuss. So.